Remember, we are still on the same topic, matrices. So what we are saying is that the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix is the sum, is the what? The sum of all the 3 products obtained by multiplying each entry on any row by its cofactors. So this is how we find the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix. So let's consider this matrix A, and we can observe that this matrix is a 3 by 3 matrix. So to find the determinant of this matrix A, what we'll be doing is that we are going to pick any row from this set of rows. How many rows do we have? We have the first, second, and then the third row. So we can pick any of the rows. And once we choose the rows, we are going to multiply each entry on that row by its cofactors. So we have, or we want to find the determinant of matrix A. So we are going to multiply each entry on the row that we have chosen. So we have chosen what? The first row. So we are going to multiply each entry on that row by its cofactors. So we have the first entry, which is A11 multiplied by what? Its cofactors. So it's going to be what? C11. Then we move on to the next entry, which is A12. So we have A12. We are going to multiply by its cofactor. Its cofactor is going to be what? C12. Then move on to the next entry, which is A13. Its cofactor is going to be what? A13. Its cofactor is going to be what? C13. So this is how we find the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix. Remember, we say that we sum all the 3 products, so we sum them. Good. So to find the cofactor, we first have to find our minus. Then the moment you have our minus, you multiply it by these signs: plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. Then we multiply our minus by this sign to give us what? Our cofactors. We have already done this in our previous lesson. So if you have forgotten, please kindly go back and watch the videos on minus and cofactors. So we are going to find our cofactors. We are still on the determinant of A. So we have our A11. So to find the cofactors from this, we are going to collapse. We want to find the cofactor for the first entry. So we are going to collapse the first row and then the first column. So we'll be left with these entries. So we are going to write these entries here. We have A22, and then we have A23, then we have A32, and then we have A33. So we are done with the first entry. So we'll be looking at what the second entry. So as I said earlier on, the cofactors, the first sign for the first entry is going to be plus, minus, plus. So looking at the second entry, we are going to have minus A12. We have minus A12. This entry A12, we are going to collapse the first row and then the second column. So we'll be left with these entries. So we have A21, A23, then we have the last one, which is A13. So we want to find for the last entry, which is this. So it means we are going to collapse the first row and then the last column. So we'll be left with these entries. So we are going to copy these entries here. A21. Now we can continue to expand the bracket or to move these brackets. So we have our determinants. We are still continuing from this side. We want to expand and then simplify. So we have our A11. So we are going to find the determinant of this squared matrix. So this will multiply that, so we have this will multiply that, so we are going to have A22 multiplying what? A33 minus what? This times that. A32 multiplying A23. So we are done with the first one, then move on to the second one, which is A12. We find the determinant of this. So we have A21 multiplying A32 minus this will multiply that, so we have A31 multiplying A23. Then move on to the last one. We find the determinant of this squared matrix. This will multiply that, we have A21 multiplying A32 minus this times that, A31 multiplying what? A22. So at this point, we can leave it at this point. So this is how you find the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix as easy as ABCD. So we are going to take examples to see how we can apply this concept to find the determinant of a given matrix. So we have our example. We want to find the determinants of the following matrices. So let's start with matrix A. So we want to find the determinant of what? Matrix A. So in doing that, let me rewrite this matrix here. So in doing that, we are going to choose any rule. So let's choose the first rule. Then we are going to multiply each entry on that row by its cohort factors. So we have the first entry, which is what? 0. We multiply it by its cofactors. So it means that with that, we are going to collapse the first row and then the first column. So we'll be left with these entries. So we are going to copy these entries and then write it here. We have -2. Then after that, we move on to the next entry. So we have the second entry. So the second entry always take the negative sign. Then we have so it means we are going to collapse the first row and then the second column. So we'll be left with these entries 3, 2, 4, 1. Then after that, we move on to the last entry, and that is going to take a positive 1. Then we have this. So with that, we are going to collapse the first row and then the last column. So we'll be left with these entries. So we have 3, -1, 4, 0. So once we have this, we find the determinant of this squared matrix. -1 times 1 give us -1. 0 times 2 give us what? 0. Then we have -2. We find the determinant of this squared matrix. 3 times 1 will give us 3. -4 times 2 give us what? 8. Then we have +1. We find the determinant of this. This will multiply that. 3 times 0 will give us 0. -4 times -1 will give us -4. Then we have the whole of this will give us 0. Then we have this also give us 10. And then this will give us what? 4. So therefore the determinant of matrix A is going to be what? 14. So that is the determinant of matrix A. Let's look at matrix X. So we want to find the determinant of what? Matrix X. So with that, we are going to pick any of the rules. Let me rewrite the matrix here. So we are going to pick the first rule, and then we are going to multiply each entry on that row by its cofactors. So this is the first entry. So we have 2, and then so we are going to collapse the first row and then the first column. So we'll be left with what? These entries. So we are going to write that 0, -3. So we have 0, -3, and then 2, -1. Then we move on to the next entry on the first row. So this is the second entry, and the second entry always takes a negative number. So we have negative, but we already have a negative one here. So we have -1 as well, like this. And then we find its cofactors, or the minus. So it means we are going to collapse the first row and then the second column. So it means you'll be left with these entries: 4 minus 3, 4 minus 1. So we have 4 minus 3, then we have 4 minus 1. Then move on to the last entry, which is this. So we have plus what, 0. So with the last entry, we are going to collapse the first row and then the last column. So we'll be left with these entries: 4 0, 4 2. So we have 4 0 and then what, 4 2. So once we have we find what, the determinant of the squared matrix. So 0 times -1 give us 0. We have minus 2 times -3 give us what, -6. We are done with the first one. Then we have this is going to give us +1. Then we find the determinant of that. 4 times -1 give us -4, minus 4 times -3 give us -12. Then we have +0. This will give us 8. This will give us what, 0. So we have 2. This will give us 6. We have plus. This is going to give us 8. And then we have the whole of this is going to give us what, 0. So we have 2 times 6 will give us 12 plus 8. And this is going to give us what, 20. And that is the determinant of matrix X. So we are left with example Y and X. You can pause the video, you try your hand on it. This brings us to the end of today's lesson. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.